Hi everybody, hello, and welcome back again. I'm still on my 100-day project, so I'm doing rather well, and I'm going to call myself up to date because I have done all the tags for the ends of the boxes that I've been making, so I really have done enough. So what does that make it then? 22nd of February was the 1st, 22nd, 23rd, 24th, 25th, 26th, 27th, 28th. So today is day 9. Day 9, guys, already. Just a blink of an eye. So which box have I got out today? What shall we be doing? Da, da, da. It's a Timmy day today. So I'm going to be making a tag to fit in there alongside the one we've already made. And I think I'm pretty organised, but you know when I say that, things go wrong. So I'm using, I believe, the backdrops, Tim Holtz backdrops papers, volume 2, and it's this one. I chopped it up, but that's the one. Oh, that goes the other way, I think. It's sort of like a crackle looking background. It's gorgeous. I love it. Because actually I was going to make a crackle background, but I found this, so you know why. So I've got two lovely remnants there. Go over there in the remnant box, and still loads of those to keep for another day. Right, so this is going to be the back of our tag. It will get backed onto something because the backdrop paper isn't really thick. It's a nice weight actually to work with. I love that other side, which is just text, but I'm going to be a big girl and not cry about it. Okay, so I'm just going to take myself some paper because I'm going to be spraying, and I don't want to spray. Well, it will get everywhere. I mean, let's face it, it'll just get everywhere. And I'm using salvage patina. The colour in this, I would say, is kind of more weathered wood, maybe even broken china, but I like salvage patina, so that's what I'm going to use. I don't want to use too much of it. This is an oxide, so I just want to make sure that it's all, it's all dispersed. And I really want drips and drops rather more than a spray, so we'll just see what happens. I'm just going to depress that really, like that, really gently, and see what happens. Salvage patina is just the best, isn't it? It's just a gorgeous colour. So I'm just randomly, and I'm not going to wet this afterwards. Where it lands is where it lands. So look at that, how gorgeous is salvage patina. It's just, might even be my favourite. And salvage patina and rusty hinge, whoo, those two together, marriage made in heaven. Okay, so I just want to dry that off, and you'll see it's sinking into the paper, so it loses that real brightness, but it's still there, we can still see it. And this is the oxide, so it does sort of sit on top of the paper. The ink just goes straight in, which of course sometimes that's what we want. So because this paper is quite thin, it is buckling a little bit, but as I say, we're going to back it onto something more solid card, and it'll be okay. I think that's all right. I just want to put some stamps around it now, and I'm going to use my field note stamps. Stampers Anonymous Field Note CMS 396. Where are you? There you are. 396. And they are just, well, those ones and the ones that are called eccentric, they are the best two sets of stamps possibly ever in the world. I love them both. At the moment, my eccentric stamps are on the missing list. Since we had that massive clean-up, there's quite a lot of things that I just can't find. And my eccentric stamps are one of them, but they'll come out again to play. So I'm just going to stamp around the outside. just to timmy it up a bit, really. There we are. Oh, I'm going to cut the tops off my tag, because I don't want to. I want to get the stamps right around it. So I hope you're all having fun. I hope you've all made boxes, or at least a box. I defy you to stop at one box. They're sort of addictive. You start making boxes and you can't, I'll just make another one, I'll just make another one. Yeah, I mean, I've just got way too many now. But you know, why not? So I'm really just going around the edge with stamps. That's all. I can't even see where that one is. I'm going to have to take that off then, put it somewhere I can see. Can't see for the handle. This afternoon I must order some more VersaFine Clair in black, because mine's coming to an end, to be honest. Have I got room for that there? Yeah, I think so. Let's do that then. Yeah, I mean, there's still ink in it, but for anything that's like a big silhouette type thing, I think it would struggle. So there's no harm in having one in the cupboard as they're ready. That's running off. I'm not even worried about it. It's fine. This one's a little short one. Let's try that. Doesn't want to stick. Oh dear. And it looks perfectly clean to me. Maybe needs a little trip under the tap. Let's see if we can fit that one in there. Yep. Filed. Then across the top. Across the top I'm going to put a bigger one. I'm going to put this just in there, yeah, like that. So I'm not, as I say, I'm not too fussed about getting perfect stamping. I just want something around the edge. Something really Timmified around the edge. So that says specimen. You could use the one that says collect. You could use the one that says field notes for that matter. That would be fine as well. Will that fit down there? I think so. So we are just working our way around the card, the tag. What else have I got? I've got this really long one. What does that say? Orders by telegraph, telephone or express promptly attended to. That's a big long one, isn't it? Will that even fit on there? It's too dirty. Shame on me, because my stamps are awful. But if you've watched me before, you know that. It's not a surprise. I do watch a lot of people who do a lot of mixed media on YouTube. Probably more mixed media than anything, to be honest. And let me tell you, all their stamps are filthy. I think it must just go with the territory. Maybe that's just an excuse. There we go. Lovely, lovely. Nearly there then, aren't we? What else have I got? Got that. Yeah, that'll do. Just going to put the corresponding bit on. So it's a nice little word. I don't really want the order bit. Lovely. Just says corresponding. So I've just got this little bit to fill in. What's going to go there? Will that go there? Yep. These are just ones that I hadn't got around to putting back on the thing they came in. They're not particular for any use. There we are, and just one more. That one there, that might fit. That will fit perfectly. So that's quite nice. It's just, as I say, it's just timmying it up a bit. There we are. So we've gone all the way around with stamps. Looking nice. Looking nice. Right. So next, I just want to put some text on here. And I'm just going to use the same that I always use, this little bit of text. It's tiny. That came with the tiny toadstools, and I love it because it's so small. And you know, there's no way you can read what it says, but you can tell there's text there. So I'm just going to stamp that around the place. Something is going on the front here, so you probably won't see too much of this, to be fair. But there might be spaces where you can see it. So I'm just moving it around so it's not, you know, the same all the way up. So I'm just randomly doing this. But I'm not going over the stamp bit. I love this little stamp. And I don't think I have one that compares to it in all the stamps that I've got. A little gap there, just fill that up. Nearly there, nearly at the bottom. And just a little bit in there. There we are. So we've sprayed it, we've stamped it. It's looking nice, actually. And I just want to ink around the edge now. And I'm just going to use Vintage Photo because that's what I like. It's Vintage Photo ink. If I use the oxide, then I'm in danger of it actually blurring out the stamps, you know, because it tends to be opaque. So I'm just going to use my brush. This brush is rubbish. Actually, I've ruined my brushes by washing them. I thought I was giving them a treat, but it didn't seem to work out that way. Let's try this. That's a bit better. So you can still see all the stamping. In fact, it looks sort of clearer. But we've got the edges done. Lovely, there we have it. So there's our background done. Right, now the next thing is, let's put that to one side and it can dry, because it's amazing how damp ink can make it. Doesn't that look gorgeous? It's yummy. It's yummy, yummy. Right, yes, a piece of paper. Now I'm going to use this. I'll tell you what it measures. It measures 4 by 6.5. That's a fairly arbitrary measurement, as you'll see later on, but that's what I'm going to use. And I've got out my Vintage Photo, my ground espresso. Yeah, that might be enough. And I'm going to do this false wood technique. I've shown you it before. It's kind of magical when it works well. You just sort of hold your ink at an angle and drag it down your paper. Oops, gone off a bit there. Then turn it round, do the same from the other side. just magical when it works. There we go. I'm going to use the ground espresso now, give a bit of a change. I'm using a cloth to hold the ink because it's easy to smudge, but it doesn't half get on your hands. Now this ground espresso is dead pretty much. There's really very little in it. So I'm pressing on quite hard, but you'll know your own inks. You'll know which ones are juicy and which ones aren't. It tends to be the edge pieces that give you the nicest lines. So there we are. That's not too bad at all. That looks nice. Yeah, that's fine. I'm convinced that that looks like wood. It looks like a wood grain. Okay, so I'm just going to waft some heat over that just to dry it. You can do your wood grain in any colours that you like. I'm doing mine in brown because I want it to kind of look like wood grain today. But you can do them in, say, something like speckled egg and salvage patina. That would be a gorgeous combination. Or dried marigold and abandoned coral. You know, a light and a dark in the same sort of colour family. And I think it would look really good, whichever colours you choose. That's dry enough now, I think. So I want to cut that down to 3 inches. 3 by 6 actually. Oh, that might not be right. I want to cut it down to 3 inches anyway. That much I do know. And it measures 4. So I'm going to cut 1/4 inch off each side because it's just where the ink pads bite at the top. So I'm going to cut that off on each side, which leaves me with a piece that is, no, I want it to be 3 inches. What are you talking about? So it was 4, so I need 1/2 inch off each side. There we are. So now it was 4, it's now 3. And I'm going to cut this into 1 3/4 inch segments, and I want 3. I want 3 at 1 3/4. Just trust me on this because I've done the maths and it nearly did my head in. So just trust the measurements that I'm giving you. Or something like right, excuse me. So 3 pieces at 1 3/4. And you've got, if you measured like I did, you've got a little bit of waste there, but sometimes there's umpty bits in it that you want to cut around, so I just allowed that just in case there was something like a boo-boo. So I'm going to ink round those, and I'm just going to use my vintage photo. I quite like this wood grain technique. I mean, you know, it's not perfect, but I like it. So, is anybody doing this challenge? Well, it's not a challenge. We're told not to say challenge, it's a project. So is anyone doing this project with me? I know Linda Park is. Leave a message in the comments if you are doing this project along with me. Somebody, and I can't remember who it was, said they'd already cut their 100 tag bases. My goodness, that's organised. That's more organised than I am. That's my scrap bit. Let's put it over there. Right, so what happens now is you get your ruler or whatever, however you measure your excuse me, your quilting ruler, whatever it may be, and we want to measure 1/2 inch up from the bottom. That's difficult the way the light's on that, but I think that's it. And I want to come in just over 1/4 inch. Exact measurements here. So it's the same on both sides, because we cut it to 3 inches wide, and our tag is 3 3/4. So just a touch over 1/4 inch. So hold on to that. That's 1/2 inch up, and then come in. It's 3/8, I think. It's the exact measurement. But just centralise it. That will do. You don't need to get bogged down in all this. You really don't. So that's that piece on. And then I'm going to come up 3/8 from the top of that one. I know, it's the right for daddle, but they are then sort of centralised. If you've got a straight eye in your head, then you don't need to bother with all these measurements. You just put your 3 pieces on and they'll be perfectly fine, and you'll be perfectly happy. I'm just not that good. Alright, so I want that at 3/8 in. There we go. So I'm just pressing it down onto the top of that ruler there. Away, come back. There we go. Stick that down. And then the same thing, another 3/8 like that. We'll stick this one down. So you can see now that most of that background that we put in, you can't even see. But isn't that always the way? It's all about the layers. You've got to be prepared to lose some of your layers. That goes there. I'm sorry for those of you that haven't been bitten by the exact bug. It must be painful watching me, but I really do like to get things right. So there we have it. There's our background and our 3 fake wooden panels. So the next bits, the next bit is a flower pot. And I have a big sty that cuts out flower pots. It's that shape. You get a piece that goes on the top, and you get sort of bands to put around it, you know, as if it was a barrel sort of thing. And you also get these to put around it if you want to make it look like it's got a nail through it or something like that. Okay, but as you can see, if I put that on there, there isn't a fat lot of room for anything else. So I'm going to cut down my pot considerably, actually. In fact, there's a piece there. No, I think I need it bigger than that. I'm forever cutting these down, that's why there's pieces around the place. So let's just come up a little bit to there. Let's say there. I'm just going to draw around that bit. If you cut them, cut 2. It's a big sty. I can't remember what it's called. I think it's called potted, actually. Mr. F's just gone to get it so we can have a look at it. I bought it second hand off eBay. There we are. So that's going to be our pot shape. Oh, thank you. Yeah, there we are. There we have it. It's called potted number 2. There must be a potted number 1 somewhere. So you see, these are the bands that have got the sort of nail in. That's just plain. And this one's got the smooth bands all the way around it. And this one, they've made it look like wood grain. That one's stone, that more like concrete. But they are really big. They're really big sties. Oh, I'll tell you the number just in case. I know some of you like the numbers. It's number 665438. But I would say it's probably quite old. Thank you, my love. So we've got that there. That's nice. And I need the top bit to go on it. But this is just going to be, look, it's just way too big. So let's just see which bits we need. So, I mean, I've taken that die and just butchered it, really, is what I've done. So I want it to come to about there and to about there. I want it to overhang, but not. And it's got an angle, so I'm going to try and copy that angle, if I can. But you could, I'm pretty sure, just draw one. Just draw one and it'll be fine. So there we are, that's my new remodelled pot. Rub out those pencil marks. There we go. Right, so now I want to colour it. And because I've used salvage patina in the background, I'm quite fancying using salvage patina again. So let me just get my little inky board. And the Distress ink in salvage patina. And I've got another brush. Hopefully this one will work a little bit better. And I just want to come in from that side. So the heaviest bit is on the edge. It's picking up brown that was already on there, and actually it's really nice. It's more like a worn salvaged patina. So I'm not coming as far as the middle, not quite. And I keep going over that edge, so that edge is definitely darker. So let's turn it round, pick up some more ink. I'm just going to hold that with a paper towel. And once again come in over that edge, all the time coming over the edge. And each time you come a little bit nearer to the centre. Just a little bit. Just like that, and then we'll have a sort of highlight, and it looks like it's shaped, like it's rounded. So I also want to, while I'm here, just put a bit along the bottom, because it would have shade along the bottom. So just a little bit along there. Lovely, that's great. Yeah, that looks lovely. And now we've got the top bit to do, and it's a similar sort of idea. Well, it's the same idea, actually. So from the edge, come in, always from the edge. I'm just picking up a bit of that brown that's on my inky board. And I want that to be in the same sort of place, so I need to come over a bit more yet. There we go, and let's do the same on the other side. Let's see where we're at. That's fine, that's good. So I am just going to go all the way along, oh, itchy foot. Just along the bottom there, because I think that kind of would be in shade maybe, just to make it look a little bit more believable. Let's put it together like that and see what we think. Yeah, I like that, that's nice. That's a bit, needs a bit more brown in it, that bit there. See if I can pick some brown up. It's just a touch too light. That's better. So there we are, there's our planter. Nice, isn't it? Was before I dive bombed it with the ink. So I think I can put the salvaged patina away. I think we're done with that. And I can just stick this onto here. So I'm going to stick about 1/2 to 2/3 down onto my plant pot. Just like that, I think. Oh, it looks nice. I like it. There we go. So that's stuck together. All we need to do now is to do the band, and I've opted to do the one that's got the hole in the end of it, and I want to bring it in sort of there and there, like that, kind of. And I want to put a brad through it. So I think that'll look quite nice. But I don't want it white, obviously. So I'm going to use my good old friend, Rusty Hinge. I just love Rusty Hinge. And I particularly love it when you're using it with the salvage patina, that sort of colour family. Now, I thought I had a little finger dabber out, but I don't. Which one would it be? That one maybe. Find these little finger dabbers excellent for colours that you don't use very often. You know, if it's a colour you use often, great, give it a whole brush all to itself. But I don't use Rusty Hinge, not like, oh, it's got a fault in that paper. Not much I can do about that. Let's put that back in there. That's done. Well, I guess actually there is something I can do about it, because I did do a mock-up first. So I can use, which one is it? That one, so it's this one. Yeah, no, that's not right. Must be this one. Yeah. So I'll swap out the one that's got, for some reason, something that the ink doesn't like in that paper, and use these two. Right, so I want to stick those on. Now you don't have to have the brad in the middle. If I were to put that there, the brad, erstwhile nail, would be over to that side. And I quite like that idea actually. I quite like it not being central. Because you wouldn't automatically put a plant pot in your garden and turn it round so as the nail was in the middle, would you? I wouldn't. I wouldn't think about it. So let's stick those on. So this one I'm going to put all the way around, like that. So the edges are even with the edge there. And then this I'm going to be guided by the hole. Obviously you want the holes on top of each other. Like that. Does that look a similar sort of angle? Yeah, I think it does. I think we're okay. So let's just trim off. Let's put the lid on the glue first. And just trim off that excess. There we are. So there's our little planter. It just needs a brad. Let me get my box out that I call metal bits. And see what I've got that can go in there. There's all sorts of brads, all sorts of goodness in here. What's that one? It's a little sort of silver one. Yeah, why not? Why ever not? I'll show you briefly through my metal bits box. These are brads. They've got, can you see that? They've got sort of screw top heads. And these aren't a Timmy product. They're by a company called Artemio, Artemio, I think. And I got them from Amazon. First lot I got were cheapest chips. And they've gone up and up and up. And now there's something like £11 for a set. So, you know, these are Timmy ones. And they're just the heads. There's no legs to them. They're just the heads that you can stick on and make it look like rivets or whatever. There's another pack of screw head brads from Ali. Then I've got all these. I think these might be called thought tokens. Hope is the thing with feathers that perches in the soul. Really? Okay. Blessed are the curious, for they shall have adventures. And that says the same. She dreams of faraway places and daring adventures. In every walk with nature one receives far more than they seek. I agree with that one. And there's loads. I want to be improbable and afraid of nothing, as if I had wings. Yeah, they go on and on. There's lots of them. And then these little ones here, just one life, stay curious, seen and noted, loads of those. I've got these little clips. Jean was the first person to send me these teeny tiny little clips, and they work. They're brilliant. I've got some little Tim Holtz safety pins, some dangly bits that don't really belong in here, but that's where they are. Some of those and jeweled antiques, something like that they're called, the Timmy ones. Yeah, some of those big machine heads or whatever they're called. These ones, I think they're called philosophy something. And that just says excellence. That's about it. Oh yeah, some of the pointers. I use those when I'm making memory books because you can swing it round and it keeps a page down. They're great for that. They are also clock hands, so you could use them as that. Some teeny tiny brads. Look at the size of those. They are so small. And that's about the excitement for there. So that's my metal bits box. Right, so what I want now is my yoga mats. I'm going to put this on there and punch a hole through. Punch a hole through where the hole is, there, just so I can get my brad through. Oh, that looks smart. Just open those up like so. They're quite soft metal, those ones. So there we are. That's our planter done. You can do yours any colour. Put the band on. Don't put a band on. Whatever makes you happy, really. Right. So that is going to go there, like that. So what are we going to put in the planter? That's the question. Well, you just know that it will be some painted flowers. I know you know that, and I know that you're sighing, thinking, oh my goodness, here she goes again, painting flowers. Well, I've saved you. Saved you saying that, and I've saved you watching me do it. I have already painted my flowers and my leaves and whatever else. So here we go. This is what I've got. I've got 2 of those. So I cut these out of the Tim Holtz Wildflowers die cuts. There are 3 sets of them. I have all 3 and they're all mixed up, so I'm afraid I can't tell you which set they're out of. There's that one. I'm not even sure that is a Tim Holtz, that one. It might be. And 2 of my all-time favourite daisies. So I've got 2 daisies, 2 of these. They might be lavender actually, but I made them yellow. One of those leaves and one of that. So we're just going to pop those on there. But the other thing that I thought might look quite nice was I came across this scrap of gold card, and I thought, ooh, that's nice. I like that. I don't even know if you can see that it's gold. The light's a bit funny today, isn't it? But it's gold. So I thought that might look quite nice at the back. Where's 12? There it is. So if I were to put that there, let's just have a little trial and see what things look like. That quite tall up there, maybe even behind it. A leaf in front of it, probably. Running out of hands. A daisy, tall daisy up there. You alright, Mr. Rev?
Just checking your colour.
Checking my colour?
Yeah. You said the colour was a bit off.
Yeah, well, the light I said was a bit off. It's quite, like, that's gold. Oh, now I've tipped it, I've messed all me best flower arranging up. Anyway, so this one I thought could be a shorter one at the front. Might have to be a bit chopping of stems and stuff. This one, a shorter one down here. And then this one at the front, going like that. So what's that look like? That's the question. Don't know, do we need that one? Yeah, I think we probably do actually. Right, so there we go. That's kind of the plan. So I think the thing to do is to stick the big tall yellow one down first, and then I can stick the clock over it. So sorry, this is just going to take a little while just to get these all glued up. If you haven't seen me paint flowers before, and I don't think there are many of you that have managed to escape it, there are innumerable videos of me painting flowers. I use Zig watercolour pens, and I thoroughly enjoy doing it. There we go. So I want that fairly straight up and almost to the top, like that. Lovely. And there's always spare glue around when you do this, so get yourself an absorbent cloth, press it down and pick up the spare glue at the same time. There we go. Now, was I going to put that behind the clock? No, I think it needs to go in front. So I'm going to put my clock on next, but I only want to glue it from there to there, I think. So from 12 round to 6-ish, 7 maybe at a push, something like that. Yeah, I got a Paper Mill Direct here in the UK, do a thing called monthly theme boxes, and I can't help myself. I cannot help myself but from buy them, because they come with all sorts of different cards for you to try out. I mean, obviously it's a marketing thing for them. You try the card and you think, oh yeah, I want some of that. But they are really nice boxes. And in one of them was this gold, so I thought, I'll put that to use. So I'm going to put the 12 obviously at the top, like that. Let's stick that down there. Try and keep the glue away from the gold because it stops it being so bright. If you've been trying to get hold of me last night or today and wondered why I'm being so rude and not answering you, it's because since yesterday I forgot to turn my phone off airplane mode while I was videoing. So yeah, it's been on airplane mode, which of course doesn't forward you messages and stuff. There we are, that's that. It possibly needs a little bit more glue there. Don't want it coming off at the edge, do we? That would just look nasty. There we are. I like that actually, it's nice. Lovely. So next thing was this green one, I seem to recall. Yep. Looking nice. So tomorrow might be a day for the Edith lap book again. And in order to comply with the 100-day project, I think what I'll do is go back to the beginning of the sections we have done and make all my journaling cards and tags, well, you know, as many as I can get into a reasonable period for a video. And that way then I'll still be producing a tag every day, but instead of going into the box, it'll go into the journal, the lap book, because I really have got to finish that. And Linda wants to know how to deal with the pocket in the infinity journal, so I need to show her that as well. So I've got lots of little bits to do. So that's going there like that, I think. I think that was the plan. I've kind of forgotten. The daisy is definitely my favourite. I love it when it's painted up. It's just beautiful. And you know, I've painted so many now. Oh dear, I must have painted 1,000. That's probably an exaggeration, but I have painted a lot. And I need to paint some more actually, because the lap book needs some. If you remember, I left some spaces in the lap book to put flowers, painted flowers. So I need to get on with that. Just put that there, just slightly off centre, so we can still see the yellow flower, spiky flower. Okay, so far so good. So that's going there. Let's just make sure that we're all right. That I think is going off at an angle like that. So I can trim that off. Well, about there actually. Get that glued down. All these fiddly things, they all take time. They just do. But it is, you know, the multiplication of all these little things that we do that gives such a nice result in the end. It's just not worth rushing things sometimes, I find. And after all, it's our hobby. Why do we want to rush it? Right, so I'm going to put that in there and sort of, you can kind of mould this one. You can bend it to your will. Like that. That's exactly what I wanted. Perfect. Okay, so now we've got this one. Let's put the pot back in and see where I want this one. Over there or over there? I like it over there better. Let's do that then. Yeah, I see Mattie's just bought a Big Shot, I think it is, she's bought. And the 3 sets of the wildflower dies. Once you've got them, you'll never look back. I use mine such a lot. Too much probably. I use them in so many projects, but you know, it was not a waste of money. There we are. So I'm going to pop that over there like that. Yeah, and it's too long, so I'm going to cut it off about there. Where does that come to? Yeah, I need to leave the leaves. You can see them. Press that down. It's getting quite thick around here, so things are getting a bit more difficult to press. There we go. Oh, that's so pretty. And that's going to go there. And so then we still have this question of, do we want this leaf? Maybe just a little bit of it, not all of it. Yeah, I'll cut it off there. See what that's saying to me. Yeah, I do like it actually. I like the way it's in front of that yellow. So, yeah, I'm going to stick with it. Like I say, I'm not awfully convinced that this is a Tim Holtz leaf. I don't know where else I would have got it from, but I'm not sure it is. It's got put in the Tim Holtz wildflower envelope, so it gets wheeled out every time they do. So I'm just going to bring that over there like that, right to the edge. There we go. See if I need all of those. So there we go. It's looking nice. I'll hold it up for you because you seem a long way away. There we go. Now then, we've just got our pot to pop on, and I do want some dimension with this, so I might just put a little bit of dimension foam down the middle and glue the sides. I think that's what I'll do. Let's have a look. I've got any narrow, yes, this is quite narrow. So just down the middle, or middle-ish. There we go. I'll take that tape off and put some glue on there and down both sides. Let's see where that's going to go. About there. About there, I'd say. I'm just going to squish the sides down. I may be here some time. Someone was asking about the types of glue that I use. The glue that I have in my small bottle, the white glue, that's a glue called EVA. Most of the tacky glues that you get are PVA. They're the sort of glues, school glues, Aleenes, that sort of thing. They're called PVA glues, and they're great for most things. The only downside, I think, is that some of them have got quite a lot of water in them, and if you're using thin paper, it can ruckle your paper up, and I'm not a fan of that. So this stuff is called EVA, E for elephant, VA, and I'm pretty sure you can get it in America. We can get it in this country from a company called Pink Frog Crafts. They sell EVA, but they can't be the only people. There must be others around. So there we are. Anyway, I think I've finished my tag. I'm just going to ask Mr. F if he can just pull in a little bit so you can see it. I'll just pause you for a sec. There you are. You're in a bit closer now, you can see. Should have had you there all the time, shouldn't I? Sorry about that. So there's our pot that looks dimensional and actually is dimensional because of the foam. It is standing out a little bit, as you can see. And there's all our lovely, lovely daisies and everything else. They look ever so nice against the wood grain, which is also mounted onto a Timmy background. So really, all that remains is to back it onto something fairly sturdy and then put some frou-frou stuff in the top, but I don't know what that's going to be. So I might leave that until I get a brainstorm over what I want to put in the top. So if you've got those wildflower dies, then that's brilliant. If not, use fussy cuts. before I had dies and all that business, I used to use fussy cuts. Nothing wrong with them. They're very, very nice. And if you don't fancy fussy cutting, do a different tag. But you know that the background is there for you. You can do your own thing on it. So there we are. Oops, no, there we were, and then I moved it. Let's give that a second to set up. Yeah, so that was this one. This is EVA. This one is called Collall, Collall, and it's not a water-based glue. It's more like Fabri-Tac or 3-in-1, except it's cheaper. And I get mine as well, once again, from the Pink Frog company here in this country. I think in America the Collall is very expensive, and you know, you can get Fabri-Tac and 3-in-1 much cheaper than we can buy it here. So it's just a kind of same sort of thing. It's just affordable here. So those are the two glues that I use. If I want to stick something down that's particularly difficult, then I have got some super glue. And I also have E6000, which I don't use very often because I'm asthmatic, and it's not great for your chest. It really isn't. But sometimes, you know, jewels and things like that just don't want to stick, then you're left with very little choice, really. But that was why I bought my super glue, so as I could use that and not the E6000. Right, there we are. We've backed that onto some... Oh, look at that. Oh dear, I've got a mark on the back of it. Oh well. Is it ink, do you think? Yeah, I think it's ink. Don't think it wants to come off though. I don't think it wants to come off. A little scrubby brush here. Oh, I'm making it worse with my fingers. No, I don't even know if that is ink. It doesn't want to come off, but so be it. That is just a casualty of war, and a reminder to you to always keep your desk clean. Honestly, mine really does need cleaning. So all that remains is to put something in the top. I'm not sure what that's going to be yet, so I'll leave that till I get a bit of an idea. I'm just going to go around the edge again with the vintage photo. I might just reback that with some cream paper, because that's just going to irritate me if I leave it like that. So there we have it. Day 9, I think we said, didn't we? Day 9. Day 9 is complete, and it's just very pretty. It's just a pretty little card. So there's lots of little takeaways for you there, I think. The how to do the wood grain. I didn't show you how to paint the flowers, but honestly, there's loads of videos of me doing that. And how to make your pot look like it's shaped, you know, by inking in from each side. So I hope you enjoyed that, and I'll see you tomorrow for day 10. Whoo, into double figures already. My goodness, nearly a 10th of the way through. See you soon, and thank you very much for joining me. Bye for now.